and welcome to another edition of OnsideSA. Budge, it's down to 7.
A magnificent 7.
They're making the last one standing. Any woman?
No, Kath unfortunately went out with Brentford last week.
She was the winning woman.
Winning lady, yeah.
Any cross-dressers? I know a bird went early.
No, Mark went early.
Okay, I'm just going to touch on them because they've done a good job. Especially one or two of these guys, Budge, have really done well. But the guys, they went through 5 on Leeds and 2 on West Ham. They never sweated a moment. The Watford, Brentford and Tottenham sold the others. So we're down to these 7, Budge. These 7 are Dick Goss, Man United passionate. Gavin Lane, who does he support?
Liverpool.
Lance Whiteford, the postman.
The postman, yeah.
Southampton. Pierre de Ferk.
Pierre thinks a Liverpool man. I'm not 100%. Bush Tavern in Mshloti, yeah.
Jeremy Fleming.
Also one of Steve Potter's members from the Bush Tavern.
And team he supports, any idea?
Not offhand. I don't want to...
Darren Fox.
Fox is a Spurs man.
Yeah, good man, that. Good man. I hope he wins it. And Clint Heap's always involved.
Clint, Paul always seems to sneak in.
Is he lucky or is he...
Paul, he's been too lucky, so he obviously knows something. He can't keep getting last 10 every competition.
And bear in mind, guys, they all went out. They all came back in, and 7 have managed to go on to try and win this prize. The new one starts. That's important for the likes of Garth Whitehead, Steve, Braham, our pundit overseas. They go early like Michelle Narak. So,
well, no. The TKO lasted a few rounds. I give them credit.
So, Budge, we'll get them. You'll get the message out to every one of them.
Yeah.
The new one starts.
New one starts this weekend. Paul, I'm not going to include the Friday game.
Yeah, leave it.
So nobody will pick it anyway. So Saturday, we'll start this weekend.
All right, let's get Stevie B on the line. Stevie's in London. Stevie, are you there?
Steve?
Good morning.
How are you?
There we go.
Good morning.
Good to hear your voice, Steve. Obviously, a great result last time. Normally takes you 3 games to score 7. Steve, you there?
Steve, the Fulham
result.
Yeah, the Fulham result 7-0.
Getting a little bit of a glitch.
Yeah, Steve.
Hold on a sec, Budge.
Okay,
while he holds on, Budge, we'll just talk Champions League results because you watch all those games. And not much later with the clocks going. The Klopp's going back.
The Jurgen
Klopp's going back. We're getting Steve back on the line.
Yeah.
How are you doing, Steve?
Yeah, I'm back on the line.
Okay, good.
Let's talk Fulham last night.
Yeah, I mean, a ridiculous result, really. I mean, it was, I think Blackburn were wanting that game to end well before, we finally put them to the sword. But, it was Blackburn's heaviest ever home defeat and our biggest win for over 50 years. But, that happens. We've been looking like we were going to give somebody a bit of a tanking, and last night was it. So, as I said before, coupled with the fact that Preston won at Bournemouth, that was a great night for us.
Yeah. Stevie, this new striker who came on for Mitrovic, who got a brace of goals, what's he like?
Yeah, I mean, he's young. I mean, he's a young Brazilian. We paid about 8 million for him. He's only just 20. He's still a bit raw, but he took his goals well. I think it'd be good for his confidence because, obviously Mitrovic, there's a lot of games to play and he could get himself injured or suspended. So it's good that we've got somebody in the wings who's capable.
All right, talking to somebody who's capable, Ronaldo saved United's blushes again.
He did very much. I mean, 2 moments of quality in what was otherwise a very disjointed United performance, and I think that potentially saved them in the group stage. But it papers over the cracks that defensively they just looked a shambles.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I watched the Malmo-Chelsea game, never in any doubt, even though the scoreline was only 1-0.
No, not at all. And in fact, Malmo tried really hard. Yeah. But to be fair, I mean, Chelsea did rotate. I mean, he obviously realised that he didn't have to sort of play his starting Premiership 11, and they still won comfortably enough. But I think that's again, Chelsea are sitting pretty second in that group. Yeah.
Steve, Liverpool, I watched the first half hour until the guy got sent off. Comfortable 2-0 victory?
Yeah, very much so. It was good for me. I mean, the star in the first half was the referee.
Yeah, you're right.
Strong referee, Danny McAlee, and he didn't put up with any of Atletico Madrid's nonsense. and they suffered for it. You know, their sort of bad sportsmanship and play acting, and in the end, when the player he was going to book him for the foul, because he refused to come back to the referee. He sent him off for dissent, and I think that shocked them. But ultimately, I mean, it could have been any more. You know, it could have been many more than 2, but comfortable enough. And now they've got 2 games they can rotate because they've won the group.
Yeah, true. And Man City 1-1 at half time, comfortable second half. They won 4-1.
Yeah, for the highlights of what I saw, I mean, once they got ahead, that was it. But, and again, they're in a very good position with PSG dropping points again. You know, it was a good week for English teams. I mean, you know, United obviously still find themselves top of the group, but otherwise, you know, the other 3 are all pretty much through.
Okay, we've got 3 English teams playing tonight. Leicester City, Spartak, easy victory.
Well, I do it easy. I mean, it was a cracking game over there.
4-3.
Back and scoring all 4. I think that he'll want to put a strong team out again. If they can win that will probably put them through in the top 2. But I think the West Ham have got a good game. I think that he'll put a strong team. He's obviously making a statement, David Moyes, to do well in Europe. And here it's a test for Conte. There's no question he has to play his strongest team. I think he obviously wants to see what they're capable of. You'd think that the Tottenham players would want to show the new manager that they deserve a starting place, and I think the fans will demand it. So I think that'll be a good game to watch tonight.
Paul?
Yeah. You know, I know they're battling with his work permit, Steve, but he's going to be there tonight, and as you say, he's going to throw in a team that has to win. They got beat with the B team, as we call it, but.
Exactly.
While we're talking about it, Steve, what's your take on Antonio Conte? Mine is a magnificent move, I believe it. I've said that with Mourinho, and I've said that with other people, and nothing sort of comes to fruition. But what I found interesting, I get all the feedback, Steve, of what's happening at Spurs. I get 5-6 a day. And what troubled me was how they spoke about Nuno, and no one wants to put the boot in, but some of the guys were saying straight out, he made it 2 teams, a B team and an A team, basically. At training, he'd make the defenders play forwards, the forwards play defenders. The training they didn't like, and there was not one social media message from any of the players or staff saying thanks for all you've done. The goalkeeper did mention it on TV the other day when they asked him. He said, we'd like to thank Nuno, but there was nothing on social media. I think it's good riddance, and I think he's a very, very good man, a very likeable man, but I think it's a big plus for us, Steve.
Yeah. For what I understand, he's a very good man manager, and you look at his track record. I mean, he's won. You know, he's won league titles. You know, in more than one country, and he did well at Chelsea. So I think that they obviously made a mistake with Nuno. He wasn't their first choice. They obviously felt pressured into appointing somebody in the summer, and it didn't work. So now they have to make it work. It's obvious that they've had to agree to whatever terms that he wanted because he turned them down in the summer. So, you know, it's not an easy thing to do. January is never a good time. You can't start rebuilding a team in January. So I think it'll be a case of he needs to sort of put the smile back on the faces of the Tottenham players and fans and, you know, with a big push, get some new players in the summer and go again next year. But I think they've got an opportunity maybe in the Cup. But it'd be interesting to see, you know, whether he can sort of get the best, because there's no question, you know, players like even Son recently, Harry Kane, I mean, they've been performing well below that level of which they're expected. So hopefully, you know, we'll see.
Yeah, I hope so, Stevie. I hope so. I really hope so. What's happening in Newcastle, Butch?
Newcastle, Steve. Unai Emery, yes, no. What's the latest?
Villarreal not leaving.
But yeah, my understanding is it's a definite no. I think that the pump seem to think that he didn't quite like the fact that it was almost we want you, and therefore it's pretty obvious you're going to leave a small team like Villarreal and come to a big club like Newcastle. And you know, he obviously looked at it and thought, look, it's a work in progress. It's still a bit of a shambles there. It's all very well they take, you know, the Saudi consortium have taken over the club, but there's no infrastructure, there's no plan there. So you know, he's obviously very happy at Villarreal.
Yeah.
They punch above their weight. And you know, and one of the pundits last night was saying that he doesn't want to be the manager that sort of gets them going, and then they bring in another big name after him. So he's sort of happy enough. It's Spain, and they'll have to start looking again. It might be they only get somebody in for a year or two just to sort of steady the ship and start building. They're being linked with every player under the sun in January, and we know you can't just throw players at it. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think we're in serious trouble. Steve, if Ollie gets a good hiding, another 5-0 hiding this week, which on recent performances I think is possible, how long do you think he's got left?
Well, I think the board obviously are not in any great rush to sack him. Whether or not what we don't know is behind the scenes. Are they sounding out anybody else? Because it's all very well sort of sacking him, and then what happens then? So but the danger is the way they defended the other night. City could tear them apart, and I think it would be. He would be under too much pressure if they were in a night. If they show some fighting spirit and they actually get a result or hold City, then I guess he can limp along for a bit longer. But there's no question, tactically, something seems to be wrong there. With the players he's got at his disposal, they're just not performing as a team.
Yeah, it's absolute shambles.
Right, Premiership back again.
Can United upset City, Steve?
I think it's unlikely. They've got the individual players who are capable of doing it, but as a team, you just think that unless they can show a performance way above anything that they've shown in recent weeks, you'd be very surprised. But it's a huge game. There's a huge amount of pride at stake, and if you get a couple of bits of Ronaldo magic, anything could happen. So I'd be surprised, but that's football.
Yeah, Crystal Palace Wolves, Steve, two teams that are really playing well of late. How do you see that going?
Yeah, I think that'd be a good game. I was very impressed. Palace's performance last week was exceptional, and I was really impressed with Wolves, particularly in the first half. I thought they played some lovely football, and were probably well deserved to win that game. I think it'll be close. I've just got a feeling they could cancel each other out, but I'm looking forward to that. I think that will be a good game.
Yeah, I agree. They're mentioning cancelling people out. Wolves cancelled Tottenham out. Tottenham, Everton, two strugglers.
Yes, I think so. But again, I think before, if this was still with Nuno there, I might have fancied the home team, even though they're struggling a bit. But I think Tottenham might go buoyed with it. Everton just seem to have gone off. The fans are not happy with the level of football that's being played. Benitez is under a bit of pressure. I wouldn't be at all surprised if Tottenham could go there and get a result.
Okay.
Well said, Steve. Well said, Steve.
Leeds United, Leicester. That should be a thriller.
Yeah, I think it will do. At Leeds, watched them last week. Basically, without Rafinha, they haven't got that cutting edge, and he just makes such a difference. Leicester will rotate a bit tonight, but they will have to play some of their starting 11 against Moscow. I think there'll be a close game, but Leicester a couple of weeks ago were looking really, really sharp. I wouldn't be at all surprised if they go and get a result there.
Okie dokie. And last but not least, Sunday night, West Ham versus Liverpool.
Good game.
Yeah, it will be a terrific game. West Ham are really playing well, and I thought their performance last week, I know Villa had a player sent off, but they were superb. And I think Liverpool can't sort of slip up at all from the sort of standards they're setting, because I think West Ham could upset them. I think you could go any result here. I fancy Liverpool, but I think West Ham could hold them.
Okie dokie. Okay. Steve, on to the Championship, Blackpool QPR. How do you see that going?
Blackpool.
Yeah, Blackpool, from what I heard, they didn't play at all well last night and were beaten by a late Stoke goal. Good win for QPR, although obviously we know Cardiff are struggling. I think that Blackpool will come back a bit stronger. I think if there's going to be a result, it'll probably be QPR, but wouldn't be surprised if Blackpool hold.
Okie dokie. Coventry City against Bristol City.
Yeah, well, Coventry lost their unbeaten home record the other night. Bristol City are struggling. I wouldn't be at all surprised if Coventry bounce back. Bristol, although they got their first home win, they were well beaten midweek away, so I fancy Coventry there.
Okay, and the game of the weekend in the Championship, Notts Forest against Preston.
Well, look, after last night's result, anything could happen. I fancy definitely the way I heard they played. I think that Preston will certainly avoid defeat at Forest. So I think that was you know, considering they're only 4 points off a playoff place, I think there's a lot to play for there.
That's true.
The Posh.
The Posh against the Magnificent Seven of Fulham again. How many will you win by this time?
It's a lot. Well, look, we are by far the highest. We're the highest goal scorers in all 4 divisions, and Peterborough have let in more goals in the Championship than anybody else. You know, on paper you'd think that we would win comfortably, but it's, you know, you've got to play them on the pitch, not on paper.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if we don't go and win by a couple of goals, but they're a tidy team at home, Peterborough. I've watched them on telly a couple of times.
Yeah.
They gave West Brom a really good game. I think that it will be a bit close. I think we can't go there and expect them to roll over, but I think I'd be shocked if we don't get a result.
True. And you mentioned West Brom, too good for Middlesbrough.
Yeah, I think they will be. I mean, they struggled last night, but got that win. And Borough, you know, very hit and miss team, Middlesbrough. You don't really know what you're going to get. Obviously, I'd love them to go there and hold West Brom, but I think that West Brom might just get back onto winning ways again.
Okay, Steve, pressure time as always. Your best bet and value bet, please.
I'm going to go for Birmingham. I think they just start fine.
Yeah, going well, Birmingham, yeah.
I think that they have a good win during the week. Good. And actually, my value bet, I think they're still going to be shown got Black Rover.
Who?
Okay.
We just don't losing them. Did you get it?
They stuttered. No idea, but I think they'll get
You're also stuck.
Okay, so you're going Sheffield United to upset Blackburn again, Steve?
Yeah, for Sheffield United. Blackburn have got 1 or 2 injuries. They've obviously got a suspension now. So I'm going to go for Sheffield United.
All right.
Excellent.
Steve, last but not least, last one standing starts again, so please do a bit of homework. And you know when you're going to send your pick in.
Yeah.
Lovely.
All right, Steve, thank you very much.
Thanks for everything, Steve.
All the best. Bye.
Premiership. Budge, let's go. We run through a few of them. Southampton, Villa.
Paul, that's the second page. The first page, the early kickoffs, Man United.
The other way around. So, yeah, let's go that way around.
Paul, Friday night kickoff, but...
sorry, I might not have this the right way around.
Yeah, you've got... So they kick
I've
off
got Brighton on top.
No, that's the second page, Paul.
Yeah,
the first page is Southampton, yeah.
That's what I asked you.
Oh, sorry, apologies, sorry.
Yeah, Villa,
Paul, I've got a
Villa.
funny feeling. I like Villa. I think there'll be goals in this.
But Villa aren't done with it.
Yeah, sure, but they can score goals, Paul. Yeah, they dropped their main man, Tyron Mings, last week. I couldn't understand that against West Ham. The red card, the guy that made the foul, who stopped the youngster from getting in, got red card. I thought the guy through the elbow should have got sent off.
Do you know, Budge, I watched, there was an earlier game. And
it was Johnny Evans.
Johnny Evans threw down the striker of Arsenal.
Aubameyang,
a yellow card.
Yeah.
Exact same thing, equidistant out, red card.
Yeah, it was hard. Paul, I thought the guy threw the elbow.
Yes.
That should have been a red card.
Yeah.
You know, but Jared Bowen got clear, goal-scoring situation, so he sent him off, and that killed the game. West Ham were on top. Paul, I like Villa to get a result. I watched Southampton, Watford.
Okay.
But I think there'll be goals in that on a Friday night.
Now, for Man United, as Steve said, do you have to rely solely on this great
Paul,
striker?
I don't like what I see. Disjointed is a great word. I was trying to think of
How are they looking at the back?
Terrible. But middle of park, Paul, there's so much space, it's frightening. We should have got beat, you know, Ronaldo, Magic. Paul, I just, 8 to 10.
But I'm going to ask you a quick question before we move on. You had to pick the side. Who would you start up front? The two
It's got to be Paul. Yeah.
The two old bullies.
Cavani's got to play. He's got to start.
Okay, Cavani and Ronaldo. Where would you play Greenwood?
I would.
So you'd have Greenwood.
Yeah.
Then you'd have Bruno Fernandes.
I'd play 3 in the midfield, Paul. But Pogba can't play, so you've got to play. Paul, when is Donny van der Beek going to get a chance?
Would you play him?
I would play him.
And your back four?
The back four
every week. Varane's gone or something.
Varane's injured, so it's got to be. The fridge, as you call him, Maguire's injured. He can't play, Paul.
Yeah,
he's slow, he's out of form. So play Bailly and Varane. Man City don't play with a centre forward.
Can't play.
Sorry, not Varane, the Swede.
Yes.
So play him. At least stay quick. Man City don't play with a centre forward, so we can't play 3 centre halves.
Yeah, no, you
so
can't.
you may as well play the speeds at the back.
Can you get a point?
Paul, every time we seem to, I don't see it, but we went there last year and beat them.
Yeah, and Crystal Palace just beat them. So anything can happen.
Anything can happen, Paul, but what I see, Man City can't lose.
For the guys who punt, 8 to 10 is not a bad price, Man City.
Paul, yeah.
Okay, we're going to go Man City. Brentford, Norwich.
It should be, Paul, but Brentford got a good hiding last week. The goalkeeper got injured against Chelsea. So, yeah, a little bit of instability at the back, but Norwich are woeful, Paul.
Instability.
Instability. Yeah.
Norwich haven't won.
Haven't won, Paul.
2 draws.
2 draws, that's all they got.
Games,
Even against Leeds.
So who are you going for the
Got
draw?
to be Brentford.
Brentford
Paul.
it is.
I think there'll be goals there because Norwich concede and so did
Chelsea
Brentford.
against the big... Burnley scored 3 goals, so we're going to get hail.
Yeah. But I think Burnley will score, Paul. They're a direct team. You know, and Chelsea, everything seems to be going well. Chelsea should win, Paul.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't be surprised if Burnley scored a goal.
Palace Wolves, good game.
Should be a thriller, Paul. The draws a play. I've been impressed with both teams.
Me too.
You know, Palace, Paul Vieira done a great job. And they come in at Wolves. They look a good team, Paul. They could go anyway.
Brighton played well against Liverpool, could have won it.
Paul, they should murder Newcastle. Newcastle are woeful. 7-10 looks a gift.
Can they go down?
Newcastle, guaranteed they can go down. Because the team's down there, Paul. Burnley aren't going down. Leeds aren't going to go down. Watford will get sucked in. Who's the 4th team?
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Norwich?
Well, you've got Norwich, I think, who are in serious trouble. Newcastle, I think Watford will get pulled in.
Yes,
and you start looking who else is around there. They're in trouble.
Yeah. Arsenal are looking good.
Paul looking very good. You know, there's youngsters, at least in the middle of the park, they've got, all of a sudden, they've got a bit of steel. I think
the
they'll win
guy
easy.
they've been bringing on, Odeberg?
Yeah, Odegaard, yeah.
Very good player.
Yeah, but Paul, they've been playing Lacazette up front, and Aubameyang just behind him with the 2 flyers, Saka and Smith Rowe.
Yeah.
I think they'll win easy, Paul. I watched Watford said last week, they were woeful.
Okay, let's go to Everton Spurs. You like Spurs? I like Spurs. Steve likes Spurs.
Yeah.
Okay, Leeds United, Leicester.
Well,
Leeds have just started to turn it.
Yeah, Paul, last week they sneaked in a bit. It was Norwich. You know, Rafinha's a good player, but they missed Bamford up front.
Where is he?
He's been injured for a while. I don't know what the injury report is. Yeah, they're missing that Luke Ayling at the back, the right back. They've got a few players missing.
And Leicester?
Leicester, Paul, you just don't know what you're going to get. Last week they got murdered by Arsenal. First 20 minutes they were nowhere. They came back into it. You just don't know. I think goals are certainty, but I think a draw's a player there, Paul.
Okay, and then West Ham, Liverpool.
Paul, last year they played and West Ham on a roll, and David Moyes let Liverpool dictate in the midfield. They're a lot better this year. You know, I'm just worried what team he's going to play tonight in the Europa League. I would mix and match and keep the boys for Liverpool because they're 4th, Paul, West Ham.
Okay, but we basically touched on the championship results. You know, Preston winning and Fulham scoring 7.
Yeah.
Any others jump out at you? Not really. West Brom winning again.
Yeah.
Okay. Championship, you got to.
It was Wednesday the result, Paul. Yeah, there was Tuesday, Wednesday there were games, 6 games on each night.
I see Rooney's team got beat again.
Yeah, 2-1 by Barnsley. Bottom of the league
that doesn't help. Okay, well, let's go look at the games this week, Budge.
Yeah. Paul, I was all over Bournemouth. I thought there were certainties. I watched them play against Reading when they won 2-0, comfortable. But my boys surprisingly beat them last night.
The first defeat.
Yeah, I think they'll rebound. Cock a hoop. Swansea are going well, Paul. Yeah. But Bournemouth should get a result.
Okay.
Barnsley, Paul, you get those. Every report I read, they lost 6 in a row. They were unlucky. Last night they beat Derby 2-1. Paul, I'm taking a chance. This is my bet of the weekend. Barnsley 15-10. Hull have only won 1 of the last 10. Struggle away from home, battle a score. I'm chancing Barnsley big time.
Birmingham versus
Reading. Bet. I totally agree. You know, Reading were flying high, but they've lost 4 in a spin.
Oh,
so you've got to be with Birmingham 13-10 at home, Paul.
Blackburn after a 7 play Sheffield United. Are they starting to find momentum? Not
Paul, they're just behind, Paul, you know.
They're 16th.
Yeah, but there's not many. I think they're 5 points behind the promotion places. Okay. So a big game. You know, after 7-0 hiding last night, it's hard to go for Blackburn. But Sheffield United, I think they drew at Forest during the week. A tough game, Paul. 24-10 the draw for me.
Cardiff, Huddersfield.
Paul, Cardiff stuck us out last week. They've lost 9 of the last 10. The game they drew was at Stoke. They were 3 down in half-time and drew 3-3. I couldn't believe it. Huddersfield are going well. They're 4th or 5th. Paul, I think a draw's a massive player there. 24-10.
Who's the next, Budge?
Coventry, I think, will be too good for Bristol City. I've been on them a couple of times to score. They've been struggling, Bristol City. Even though they won, they broke their hoodoo at home. But I see Coventry getting back to winning ways, Paul, 9-10. You know, this is the next game, Luton-Stoke. You know, Stoke had a poor away record, but they beat Blackpool last night 1-0. Luton hard to beat at home, Paul. So it's all 3 in the exotics, but I don't really see Luton getting beat at home.
Yeah.
And Millwall, Derby, Paul, Millwall going well at home. Derby was their first loss in a while last night. I listened to Rooney this morning. He was disappointed. Yes. I wouldn't blame you for taking 8-10 Millwall, but I think in the exotics, if you can afford it, throw the draw in as well.
Okay.
The final page in the Notts Forest Preston. Well, I'm always hopeful of Preston, but I watched Notts Forest play QPR. The manager's got them buzzing, Paul. They looked a lot better than I thought they were. They drew 1-1, they equalised late. I don't see them losing, Paul. 5-2 would be my play. And the game, I think, will be tight.
The posh Fulham should be too strong.
7-10, Paul. You know those teams, doesn't matter where they play, they're too good for Peterborough. Peterborough will make a game of it.
Could you take 7-10 them into 8-10 Man City?
Well, Paul, I won't, because Man City against Man United. But if you did, I wouldn't blame you at all.
Okay, West Brom coming right, they're third.
Yeah, they sneaked in, Paul. They got a hiding from Fulham last week. I saw a lot of it. They never looked like doing anything.
Yes.
Middlesbrough, a funny team. You know, they either win or get beat. Throughout in the exotics, Paul, I've thrown the draw, and I wouldn't blame you for taking 8-10.
Yeah.
But it's not I think the better 8-10 shots over the weekend than West Brom.
Blackpool QPR.
Should be a good game there, Paul. I think goals is the way to go. Blackpool got upset last night where our man Neil Horsman and Derek Ramsey were at the QPR Cardiff game.
That's right.
So,
what was the final score?
1-0 Cardiff. So Horsey, I hope he didn't open his mouth in Wales. But
I saw a photo of him there.
Yeah.
Draw.
They sent me a clip of the stadium and that.
Jackets and everything, very cold.
Yeah, very cold. Paul, a draw's a player there, but I wouldn't see QPR getting beat. But that's 1, 2, 3 in exotics for me.
PSL, midweeks, I want to talk to you about it.
Yeah.
Chiefs got beat by Stellenbosch.
Paul, we mentioned last year there's a youngster plays up front. I think it's Dupree's his surname. He reminded me of Calvin Peterson, a young Calvin Peterson.
Yeah.
The only thing he couldn't do was score. The goal he scored against Chiefs, Paul,
I saw it.
And doing really well, Supersport. I'm glad for Gavin Barker.
Yeah.
Steve Barker.
Steve Barker.
So good luck to them.
Swallows drew again, 0-0.
Well, they can't win a game, yeah.
Galaxy beat Baraka.
That was their first victory of the year, TS Galaxy.
Sure. Pirates beat...
they came from 1-0 down late on. I thought they were going to get beat. Sekakuna United, they won 2-1 Pirates.
Royal AM used to be...
That's Bloom Celtic. They played at Chatsworth.
And they won 2-1. They beat Supersport.
Yeah, that was a big result.
Amazulu played tonight.
Oh, yeah. What happened? Yes, they were played, but the kids clashed, so they had to postpone the game.
Because the kids clashed?
Yeah. Well, the away team's got to change.
Yeah, well, they didn't just get on the phone to the locals.
So I hope they both get fined.
Both get fined. Yeah. Cape Town City beat Chipper.
Yeah, Paul, they scored last minute.
And Sundowns beat Maritzburg.
Yeah, I was on, Paul. I watched quite a bit of it. They tried hard Maritzburg. Yeah, Sundowns have just got enough, Paul.
Yeah. Okay, let's look at Supersport versus Galaxy.
This is Friday, Paul.
1-4.
Yeah, it should be. TS Galaxy, even though they won, I just don't see Supersport getting beat, especially in Pretoria.
The last 4 away games, Galaxy lost them all.
Lost all 4, yeah.
Chiefs, they 7th.
Paul, you just
Pirates
never know.
6th.
Biggest derby in Africa. The draw is obviously a massive player. Of the two teams, I like Pirates, but this could go anyway. We've witnessed many a derby.
Stellenbosch on a roll, play Golden Arrows.
Paul,
Second, play 9th.
It's just Arrows. Last time I watched them in Cape Town, they were 4-0 down in like an hour, came back to 4-3 against Cape Town City. Stellenbosch, Paul, they're going well. 11-10, it's hard to take 11-10 a PSL team by Sundowns, but of the two teams, I definitely fancy Stellenbosch.
Amazulu 10th, Cape Town City 8th.
Cape
Sunday
Town,
now, it's gone to Sunday because of that. Yeah, okay.
Paul, they played in the MTN 8. Cape Town City beat them 2-1. Cape Town City got beaten in the final on penalties. It's the worst penalty shootout I've ever seen.
Oh, me too. I could not believe that.
I was hoping Cape Town City had a chance to win, missed a chance to win.
How many were missed? About 8?
Oh, Paul, 8 out of 10. I think it was 2-1, so 7 must have got missed. Terrible. But Benny's doing well at Amazulu. They got to the CAF Champions League.
How can they not take penalty? You don't mind one guy missing, 2 guys missing. But 4 and 3 missing.
Yeah, it was bad. So
that's
terrible.
You give me 10 kicks in a row, I'm going to get 7.
Yeah.
Even if I use my left foot.
You should get 4 at least, but it was embarrassing. Paul, I think a draw written all over it.
Okay.
Amazulu, a good team, and so Cape Town City, so it'll be a tight affair. The draw looks the right player.
Okay, let's move on then. Royal AM.
Paul, I like Royal AM. 7-10, they play out at Chatsworth. They won the last 4 at home. A good team. Paul, I think they'll win again.
Chipper United, Maritzburg. 14th plays 11th.
Chipper can't score. Gavin must be throwing his toys out the cot. I was impressed with what I saw from Maritzburg last night. A tight game, Paul. Another game where you've got to go a draw on one other.
Okay.
A draw player for me there.
Swallows the draw merchants at 12th. They play
Sekakuna United.
Sekakuna United.
I like
5th.
Sekakuna United. They got beat by Pirates, Paul, but they played well. But draw in the away club. And
now, who are Maruma Gallants?
That was TTM last year. They changed their name.
Well, what are they going to be next year?
They bought Bidvest, then TTM, then Maruma Gallants. They
Sundowns
play tonight.
3-10.
Certainties.
Okay, let's go look at the soccer pools, Budge. Tell me
Paul,
your thinking.
Gold Circle, Paul. I've gone 3 bankers, 3 fields. I've gone the field in the Manchester Derby, even though I don't see Man City getting beat. I've gone a banker Brentford to beat Norwich, Chelsea to beat Burnley. I've gone the field in the Crystal Palace, Wolverhampton and Blackpool QPR games, and ended off with banking Brighton to beat Newcastle 162. Okay. The other soccer 6, I've gone Man City win and draw. I've gone the field in the Kaizer Chiefs Orlando Pirates game. I think Brentford will be too good for Norwich. I've gone the field in the Crystal Palace Wolves fixture. I banked Stellenbosch to beat Golden Arrows, and I threw the draw in Amazulu win and draw at home against Cape Town City 2-1-6.
Those are your 6s.
Yep, on to our Gold Circle Soccer 10. I've gone Man City win and draw at Old Trafford. I'm bankering Brentford to beat Norwich, Chelsea to beat Burnley. The field in the Crystal Palace versus Wolverhampton match. I'm bankering Bournemouth to beat Swansea City. Our second page, I'm going the field in the Nottingham Forest Preston game. I'm going for Fulham to be too good at Peterborough. I've added the draw in with West Brom at home against Middlesbrough. I've gone the field in the Blackpool versus Queen's Park Rangers game, and ended off with bankering Brighton to beat Newcastle 2-1-6. On to the soccer 13. I've gone the field in the Crystal Palace Wolves game. I've banked Brentford to beat Norwich, Brighton to beat Newcastle, Barnsley to beat Hull, and Birmingham City to beat Reading. I've gone Blackburn Rovers win and draw at home against Sheffield United. Also Cardiff City win and draw at home against Huddersfield Town. Onto the second page, I've gone Nottingham Forest to avoid defeat against Preston North End. I've gone Coventry City, win and draw at home against Bristol City. Likewise, Luton Town in a tight game, win and draw at home against Stoke. And ended up with 3 bankers, Millwall to beat Derby, Fulham to win at Peterborough, and West Brom to beat Middlesbrough 192.
My favourite page, Budge.
Oh, Paul.
You're on a roll.
On a bit of a roll. Let's hope it continues. Yeah, I've gone Brentford to beat Norwich City and both teams to score. I've gone Arsenal to score in both halves against Watford. And I think there'll be goals in the Everton-Tottenham game, Paul. 3,000 to 200.
Spurs 3-0. That's
On
fair
to the
enough.
Championship treble, Paul. I'm going Barnsley to beat Hull City, Birmingham City to beat Reading, and Bournemouth to beat Swansea, and both teams to score. I couldn't believe that price. 21 to 1, so 4,300 to 200 was our bet.
Team goals.
Team goals. All these teams have to score over 2 or a minimum of 2 goals. I'm going Aston Villa, Tottenham, and I just got a funny feeling West Ham will score a couple.
That's the one that worries me. I'm going to put
the last one.
Okay, okay, both teams to score.
Yeah, both teams to score. Yeah, I've gone Chelsea, Burnley. I've gone Everton, Tottenham. I think it'll be a 3-2 thriller. I've gone Blackburn, Sheffield United, and Luton, Stoke. 2,200 to 200. Our Spanish quartet. I've started watching this league again, Paul. I'm going Athletic Bilbao to beat Cadiz. I'm going Deportivo Alaves to beat Levante, and both teams to score in the Seville derby between Real Betis Sevilla and Valencia Atletico Madrid. 2,400 to 200. Collis King 6 or Nexa. I'm going Brighton to beat Newcastle, Arsenal to beat Watford, Bournemouth to beat Swansea, Fulham to beat Peterborough, Juventus to beat Fiorentina, and Lazio to beat Salernitana, 2,500 to 200.
Excellent, Budge. Keep it on a roll. Don't forget, it starts again this weekend. We've got our last one standing. It's a wonderful prize, flown overseas to go and watch the team of your choice and all the transfers and whatever goes with it. So, Budge, it's all stations go.
All stations go, Paul. So the 7 boys that are still left in, good luck to them. But I'll be on everybody's tail as far as a new competition starting.
Lovely. Until next time, stay on side.